Hey, everybody. God bless you. This is Pastor Jackie. We'll be starting in just a couple of minutes. Not much of a segue tonight, but I'm hoping that people get an opportunity to sign on. Just to enjoy the music for a few minutes while I put myself together. Got ourselves a barn burner tonight. No doubt about that. Hope your day has been well. Things are all good. Once again, as I always say, Mondays just seem so far apart. I'm excited. One of the things that's real interesting, though, is the lesson I prepared, all the stuff that I wrote down and all the slides and all of that. We're not really using any of that tonight. Being led to go in a different direction. But it's all good. It's all good. I am okay with God making changes and adjustments. But I'm very hopeful that you're blessed. I don't like this camera being so far away here. Oh, there we go. Got about 1 minute. Hey. Bought a new camera for you guys. This actually does framing. It's for the second show when we get on the green screen and doing some other things like that. All right, one more thing to do. It is 8 o'clock. The Corvette clock's not talking to us yet, though. I think it's off about a minute, but I'll give it another second. Man, I'm finding out that I know that Facebook kind of, not kind of, but it keeps a count. And I heard this morning, that there's somebody that listens every week. I haven't seen that person's name or anything like that. So just not sure how that's all. I'm confused. I've got more people listening than I know, but I'm grateful, certainly, that is happening. All right. Let's get this show rolling. I am Pastor Jackie Jackson. I'm your host. As always, welcome to the Urban Apologetics channel. Thank you for joining me and hanging out with me. I'm always excited about, what we're doing and what we're trying to cover, trying to make you the smartest person in the room as it pertains to this topic, which means that I am constantly studying and preparing and going back over information that I've worked with over the last 30 years, just doing my best to get information to you. We are here. There's the Corvette clock. We are here every single Monday, and I am blessed to announce that we have worked out all the kinks. You can go to Jackie Jackson Facebook Live, which is what some of you are watching me on now. But there's been a few little things here and there. I wanted to switch some stuff up to make sure that the Facebook Live is on the Urban Apologetics Live channel. So that's what we're on. That's if you go to Facebook, to YouTube. You go to YouTube right now and it's there. Now, one of the great things about YouTube is that it's stagnant. And that gives us the opportunity to, for you, that if you missed something or said something too fast or you wanted to look something up yourself, which I'm really, really hoping that people will do, YouTube, you can pause it, write something down. I do that with videos, documentaries that I like. I had one documentary, I think the thing was about an hour and 20 minutes, took me 3 days. I still have things that I haven't looked up from that video. It took me 3 days, about 8 pages of notes that I took. Just great learning. So, that's what Facebook can do for you. Hey, need you to give me your likes and your subscription on YouTube for sure, but need your likes on Facebook as well as YouTube. Like to know that you're there so I can get all of that figured out, because I am just not sure how this is happening, but I am glad that people are checking it out. I'm excited because of what it will do for you and the people that you can affect by the information that you gain. So thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it. All right. So as usual, as I always announce, this is adult study time. When I put these on YouTube, they ask, is this good for children or not? I don't. Not because I'm going to say something inappropriate, but because I want to make sure that, the topic, because of all the controversies that we have going on right now, that the topic is very clear, that this is for adults, just to kind of, keep there from being a problem. So welcome again to the man cave. We're going to get this ball rolling. How'd that picture get in there? Is that one of the 2 fruit trays I made yesterday? Combining the colors and all of that stuff, still got some of it left, which is what I'm gonna have when we get done tonight, man. I think if you haven't listened before, I'm a foodie, so I love cooking stuff and making stuff and all of that. So anyway, welcome to the Apologetics channel. Our main focus is Black biblical history on a regular basis. But tonight, we're going to step outside of some of that, not all the way out. But our purpose, as we've stated before, is that some 70% of young Black men and women, 70%, do not remain in the church once they become an adult. Now, that's serious business. We need to do something about it. That's why we're having this Urban Apologetics channel, so that we have an opportunity to give them information so that when they get to college and somebody says that Christianity is the white man's gospel, they have a defense for that. Not just know about Daniel in the lion's den and Jonah and the fish and things like that. No, but they have real stories and information that they can connect that will help explain why their faith is the way it is. The other thing is, and this, we're going to be dealing with this tonight, all kind of temptations that are out there that are drawing young Black men away from the gospel. And when you look at the systematic racism that we are under, it's easy for them to become angry with anything they associate or assume is white. And we have to make sure that we take care of that kind of thinking by using, you don't have to have this Bible, but by them reading the Bible. It is a great Bible, and I suggest that you get it. What has been fascinating in this study is that DNA evidence is agreeing with what Scripture has been telling us all along. That is very crucial for you to understand that the Bible and science are in agreement with one another. Okay? Very important for you to get that. Okay, so as I said, we're going in a different direction tonight. There's some things that have been happening in our society over the past few weeks that need to be addressed, to be talked about. And I'm going to take the time to do that. Again, it's just kind of off the beaten path. We've been studying like we did foot last week, and my plan was to do Canaan. And Canaan is going to be one of our larger discussions, and then we'll go back and grab some other things like Nimrod, which will be in that for a while when we get there. But we had so much that's been going on in our society, and the Amber Ruffin show, it's a comical show, right? But there's a lot of truth in it. And I watch her videos, I've subscribed to her stuff, and there's just been some things that have been staying, and I thought that it'd be a good opportunity for us to talk about it. For instance, Katanji Brown Jackson, first Black female to be appointed to the Supreme Court. On its face, that sounds like a good thing, and it is a good thing. But it really showed me, in the midst of the celebration, I don't want to be misunderstood. This is a great thing. But in the midst of the celebration, one of the things that it showed me is how systemic hatred and racism is. I had this video clip. You can look it up on YouTube. I didn't have time to put it together because of the quick change here. Where all these senators, as she is confirmed, the votes are in. And she wasn't voted in easily. But as she's confirmed, they walk out. Why? Why would you do that? What message are you trying to send? I mean, Mitt Romney stood there and he clapped his hands, which I thought was wonderful. But the only reason that she won is because a majority of Republicans didn't vote for her. Why? She's the most qualified candidate we've ever had. Ever had. I mean, I know they played games and Fox News picked up on all of that, but most qualified candidate that we've ever had, and they wanted to figure out a way to get some sound bites so they can go on television, which they did that night after they... But it showed the depth of our issues, because it should have been unanimous when you have someone that's that qualified. But what does it mean that you walk out? You personally are showing a level of disgust that somebody black is being appointed, but you're also sending a message to your constituency. Boy, I don't know what my tongue's doing tonight. But you're sending a message to people that I'm not for this. I want to make sure. I don't want to lose any votes. I don't want there to be any misunderstanding. But it keeps the lie perpetuated, the racial tension perpetuated. The lie that black people are less and don't deserve equality. And you're representing our country, representing your state. But this is how you conduct yourself. And then they'll turn around and tell you that they're Christians. Only God is your judge, but I can quote several verses off the top of my head that make your relationship a little bit shaky. So, she's in under protest from some. They made it ugly. And yeah, let's move on to the next thing. This is a biggie also, because I apologize, that Facebook thing is still down there. Thing is that my pictures come, I can't actually see that till I move something around. I might get a little gap in between and be able to see it. So I apologize for that. Anyway, the Emmett Till anti-lynching law. The Emmett Till anti-lynching law was passed and signed on March 29th. Now, the first law was written, the first time this was attempted, was in 1900. From 1900 to 2022, March 29th, 2022. From 1900 to that's a long time, folks. For a law to be created that says that you cannot indiscriminately pull black people out. What was it? In South Carolina, I can't remember the name of the state, but the city. Wilmington comes to mind, but I might be wrong. It was a black town, for the most part, a black and white town, and black folks were successful. And that's what Ida B. Wells was trying to identify, is that these just aren't random black people that they're necessarily picking up off the street, although 4,000 people were lynched, that we know of. But these aren't just random people. These are business owners. It's a guy that owns a hardware store, and a black guy owns a hardware store, and a white guy owns one down the street. And That was what they were demanding. They tried to pass a law that said that all black businesses had to close. A law. I almost said something real strong, but y'all aren't ready for it. So, like over 100 other black towns in this nation, isn't that something? And we're down to one. Over 100 black towns, most of which ended the same way. White riots. Just killing people, selling souvenirs of ears and other body parts. I mean, in this particular story in South Carolina, they actually sent a body part to the governor as a souvenir for having destroyed this town. Ain't no God in that nowhere. So the anti-lynching law took a long time. I mean, it's been proposed, I think, some 200 times. From 1882 to 1968. However, police are still doing it. It's just done with somebody that has a badge. And the thing about it is that 99% of the people that were involved in these lynchings, 99% went unpunished. But here's a part of what blew me away. The Democrats have the majority, but 201 Republicans. Listen, folks, my ballot's all over the place. This isn't about Democrats and Republicans. It's about right and wrong. 201 Republicans said, don't want that to pass. I'm sorry, 3. Sorry, excuse me. Don't want that to pass. Sorry about that. Why? What is it about a lynching law that you have a problem with? But March 29th, Joe Biden signed it into law. Now, I want to tell you why this is close to home for me. This gun was owned by my great-grandmother's hubby. And he worked at a mill. You know, they chop down trees and, you know, sell the wood, however they did that piece. And you had people that lived in cabins and they would get tokens to buy stuff from the store that's also owned by the same company. They weren't getting real money to use, but you could sustain yourself. Well, the man was a marksman. And the foreman was told by some workers there that this guy is, you know, somehow a better shooter than you, and they end up challenging each other. So black man wins. The next day, the foreman comes riding out on a horse, shoots him in the head, and of course kills him because he's angry that he lost. But he also knew he had impunity. He lost a laborer. There's no trial, no court case. The company offers that my grandmother can continue to stay there and they'll pay, you know, for her to be able to eat and all of that. But who'd want to stay in that kind of environment? She didn't, so she left. So one day I'm at my dad's house. He comes downstairs with this gun and says to me, "This is his gun." I set the gun on the floor and I just stared at it. I can't even tell you for how long. just a heart-wrenching story in a time where women couldn't keep themselves from being raped. Men had no protection under the law. Had a white guy one time tell me we should just get over it. I'm not even back to slavery yet, which was the same, worse, no freedoms. But this anti-lynching law, it's important to at least have something like that on the books, but we've struggled to get that done. All right, move on to the next thing. So I go into the store the other day, the picture that's on the right, I open it up, it's talking about women of the Bible, and it is just full of pictures of people that are the opposite of what I've been teaching you. Everybody was, pale. There wasn't nobody even there with just like the picture on the front there. And it's so far from the truth, but it keeps the narrative going. That these people were white when they were not. And this was done on purpose for a reason, for supremacy, to justify treating people as second-class citizens or second-class, not letting them own land, all kinds of things. Came out of taking, and as I've read to you in one of the other videos, we are the only major religion on the planet that changed the skin color of the biblical characters. And I know what that paradigm shift is like. Because for me, I'd seen these images so much, that's why I don't put that many of these up. I'm just doing this to tell the story. But because once you've seen images, it has an effect on your brain. Has an effect on your brain. It has an effect on your mind to where you start, when you close your eyes, you see a white Jesus, you see a white Mary, you see these people as something other than what they were. And what they were is black. I've told you before, the Ashkenazi Jews that are in Jerusalem now, they weren't a part of the tribe of Judah. They weren't even there. I think they left at the Tower of Babylon. And we're going to get to that when we talk to Nimrod. That's when I talk about Nimrod. That's when I think they left. Went up into Europe, to Russia, Germany, Spain, France.